Dover Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now let's go up to them heavyweights, guys. Now, the WBC president, Mauricio Salomon, I think his name is, he's excited about the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight. He's excited about that fight. It's a good fight. And he also weighed in on Anthony Joshua. He said Anthony Joshua had the fight right between his grasp and let it slip through his fingers. He's out. He missed out. That's what he thinks about that. And that's probably what a lot of people are thinking about that right now. And we all are excited about the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight. It's the lineal heavyweight champion versus the longest reigning champion we have, Deontay Wilder. And, while I'm there, let me just state this. Around the Deontay Wilder thing, sometimes people, they get to hate on Deontay Wilder so much that they're kind of forgetting certain things. You don't pay attention to the things that are going on around Deontay Wilder. Like fighters being doped when he tries to fight them. Like fighters leaving because of anything. Dope, depression, getting fat. That's Tyson Fury. Povetkin doped. Warwick doped. Ortiz doped. The man wanted to fight Povetkin even though he was doped. Wanted to fight Ortiz even though he was doped. So there's a lot of things going on around him, right? But at the end of the day, this guy is not doped, skinnier than everybody, and trying to fight everybody. You know what I mean? So sometimes, I know we live in a topsy-turvy world, but, the guy who doesn't do anything wrong, sometimes you have to glorify that. I know I've been in Europe often and watch all those, cars driving around with 666 on the license plate. Everybody. It's like the favorite license plate. So I know we're living in some kind of crazy world where there ain't no more hating on Satan. And the bad guy is the good guy. The guy that does try to do right is not considered good. I don't know why we're like that, but whatever. Don't get me started on that. It's a whole different thing. But it is what it is. So I like to make sure that's clear when we hating on Deontay Wilder all the time. All the other guys keep messing up. It's not him. So what was interesting about this article I read too is because it's boxing scene, right? Who for me is a little suspect. A lot of people I've seen things. Everybody's suspect when they don't mention stuff. Because the reason why I say suspect is people that are in the mainstream media or big websites and things like that are talking boxing. I expect you to be in the know. I expect you to have information. If you're able to write an article that thousands of people are going to read, in some cases maybe millions, then you should put the facts in there. Right? And sometimes I don't see that. So in this article, I was happy to see that when they're talking about Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, that they also mentioned the $50 million offer that Deontay Wilder's team offered him. And they don't mention that it was the base, right? That it was, that's the minimum that he was going to get. That was the guarantee that he was going to get, that it could be significantly higher. They didn't mention, but at least they mentioned that he was offered him $50 million. And then after that, a $15 million flat fee was offered to Deontay Wilder. So a person that is not biased or don't have an agenda can just look at that information, let it go through his filter, and decide. Right? That's what was interesting about this. So I thought that was pretty good, that at least they're starting to mention this. And like I say, the walls are closing in. I mean, it's not looking good. Right? And I'll give you an example. My boy, I've been telling people that's, a few subscribers that are here. You guys know my boy, Nigerian descent, Anthony Joshua fan. And we started off talking about it a lot. And, I told you, he said, man, Joshua, I don't like Deontay Wilder. He talks too much. Joshua's going to knock him out. So we were talking about when the fight happens. And then they start negotiating. He was like, yeah, you're going to see. Right? And then, he totally Joshua fan. He's, like I said, Nigerian descent, loves his boy. And, but that day after he found out about the $50 million, when we talked, he said, I don't know if I can, roll with the guy that won't fight for $50 million. Right? But he was still down with Joshua, but he just didn't know if he can roll with that. That irked him a little, because he, it's a fair guy, obviously. Right? So recently, I'm not sure if I said this to you guys, but recently, he just told me, man, I don't like him anymore. Boom. This is a guy that's all in on Anthony Joshua. Has went from loving this guy to I don't like him anymore. Right? This brother, and that's what I'm just trying to say. when you have all this information, you know, you guys are going to have, it's in your hands to let these guys know that, listen, you know, don't be proud because people are coming to your fights. And we know that, you know, there's another guy in your division you're scared to fight. You know, you're not supposed to be proud about that. And me watching a lot of different type of sports, you know, and I love me some England and a lot of stuff. You know, when I go there, you know, that's the bomb. I love the music and stuff too. You know, and I love me some England. You know, like I told you, my favorite fighter is Lennox Lewis. The favorite heavyweight of all time is Lennox Lewis. And I love a lot of English fighters. Prince Nassim Ahmed, Chris Eubanks Sr., we get Joe Calzaghe, bomb. Okay, it's a lot of fighters that I love that come from England. Even Carl Froch, because Carl Froch is, you know, like a Deontay Wilder type. I'm unconventional. I don't care. Shoot, speaking of unconventional, Nassim Ahmed, Chris Eubanks Sr. too. But the thing about it is you don't want the world to think that England is, you know, we like second best a lot. You know, because, you know, the motherland of football, right? But never win anything. Well, and it's hard to win the World Cup. It only happens every 4 years. But to have won one, you know, and you don't get close pretty much ever, except this time, which was, you know, not that close, but close enough, right? You know, never win, you know, pretty much anything. European Cup, World Cup, nothing. If it wasn't for the Premier League, probably wouldn't even be relevant in that sport, right? So, and in boxing, when you're talking about somebody that's undisputed from England, you know, Lennox Lewis, and then you're stuck. Now, Joe Calzaghe, I don't know if he was undisputed, but he could have been, right? So, you know, those kind of guys. After that, it gets thin. But just because of that, stop liking second best. There should not be, there should be a huge outrage that Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight Deontay Wilder under those circumstances. There should be. And that outrage should not come from anywhere else except from England, so he can get the memo. If you don't do this, just like I said, this time I'm trying to say it again. If you don't do this, it would never happen. He would continue to do this. Now, if you want to keep it on the island the whole time and he's the bomb there, well, good, right? But when you talk a world champion, that's not going to be good. And it's not a good look. Forget Anthony Joshua for a minute. It's not a good look for you, England. It's not a good look that people are like, oh, well, we don't care that he's scared of somebody. That's just not a good look. So get it together, right? And I'm just thinking the WBC president, Suleiman, and just calling it how he sees it. Now, I know you know, the Deontay Wilder's WBC champ, but it's not like they're big Deontay Wilder fans, right? And he thinks Tyson Fury going to have a darn good chance, I'm sure, right? But now the fight is Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, and it's not Joshua versus Povetkin. And it did not have to be that way. And the way that they acted the whole time, Joshua's team, is also not good for character. You know, the lies, getting caught in lies, and dragging out something that didn't even have to be. All you have to do is say in February, you know what, we're going to do the Povetkin thing, get one more fight under our belt, and then we'll readdress Deontay Wilder, see if we can get him in April. Instead of lowballing, offering him, acting like you're lying, calling Shelly Finkel, people in the business 2 times longer than Eddie Hearn, calling him out of his name, and saying lies, but when it was time to put paperwork up, wouldn't do it. Just because you have an audience that is following you doesn't mean it's okay. Shoot, Trump got Fox News, right? Doesn't mean that it's okay. You understand? And because of that, people have seen a character flaw as well as a person that's not trying to fight another person. And that is not good. It's not a good look. Anyone who still thinks that way, really, you have some kind of problem. You want to be fair. I think that's what it is. We want to be fair. And that's not what it's looking like from there. So WBC president is hyped about the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, and he says Anthony Joshua let it slip through his fingers. He's basically missed out. What you think? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. I'm out of here, y'all.